Welcome to the ISO Show, dispelling myths and sharing tips for success to improve your business with ISO standards, with your host, Mel Blackmore.
Hi, and welcome to the ISO Show. Thanks very much for joining me today. Hopefully you listened to the last episode, number 103. Is your ISO management system ready for a makeover? Because if you did, this next episode is going to be really useful. It's 5 steps to revamping your management system. So if you think the management system is ready for a bit of a makeover, then hopefully these 5 steps are going to help you on your journey. Okay, so the first step that we're going to look at is identification of what's essential from an ISO perspective. Okay, so quite often with a mature management system, stuff gets bolted on. When I say stuff, that could be procedures, policies, documents, templates that have been added by different individuals at different stages. But unfortunately, it's made the management system a bit of a beast. It's become unwieldy and unmanageable, which can cause all sorts of different problems, which could include duplication of forms and even procedures, which not only causes massive confusion, but it ultimately can lead to a lack of compliance because people just don't understand what they're supposed to be doing, where, when and how. So they just don't do it. I mean, do you find that employees are struggling to find what they're looking for? If they are, then now is the time to look at what is actually essential from an ISO perspective. And also, I think it might be worthwhile just looking at what is actually an ISO requirement in your ISO management system and what isn't. Okay, I think that's an interesting exercise to begin with. And a great place to start is by looking at the standard and where it says shall. That's the stuff you've definitely got to do because when it comes around to your annual surveillance visits, then the assessors are expecting to see that evidence in place. So ultimately, this could be a great opportunity to sort the wheat from the chaff when it comes to your management system and what's actually an ISO requirement. Okay, so there might be a lot of stuff in there that people think they've got to comply with because it's an ISO requirement, and it's not. Which then leads me on to the next step, number 2, which is what's essential to your business, okay, which is just as important, if not more, in my opinion, to shaping your management system. So ultimately, this should be an opportunity for you to be able to establish your company's own unique way of working. So from this point of view, you need to look at what is going to add value to your business. Okay, what's going to add value to provide a scalable model for growth? Okay, so you might have 1 location at the moment, but you might have plans to expand to another 5 locations or offer different services overseas, for example. Is your management system fit for purpose in terms of the direction that you want to head in? So adding value to your management system will be different to other businesses. It may be that there is a weakness around your sales process within your management system. So, is it time to create an awesome sales process which can enable you to generate more leads and close deals more effectively? Or is it better visibility on business performance? Is that what the business actually needs right now? So that could result in creating dashboards so you know exactly how your company is performing at the click of a button. You might also want to look at this from a different viewpoint as well. It's not just about the end deliverable, but about employee welfare. So looking at it from an employee welfare perspective, what does that employee journey look like when they first join your company? This could include looking at things like having a great induction program, doing 360 appraisals possibly. It could be a staff benefits scheme to help with retention of staff. It could be training people so that they're mental health first aiders. It could be reviewing and updating job descriptions so everybody's crystal clear on accountabilities and who does what. Or it could be something that just makes things a little bit more welcoming, such as like a welcome video, a welcome pack, or a staff handbook. So these are all things that you might want to consider when you're looking at revamping your management system to enable you to go the extra mile both for employees and other key stakeholders. So for example, at Blackmores, we've developed a customer journey. Okay, so this is actually what we call our client success journey. And this covers different stages, and we've got this in a channel in Teams. And then there is a link to how we do these different things along the client success journey. So we've got the attract stage, so how we attract people to hear about Blackmores, and obviously the ISO show is one of those things. So we have if you click on that, then that will take you through how we manage our ISO show in terms of the planning, the production, editing, etc. So that's just one example on attract. Then we've got engage. Okay, so how people engage with us, how we invite and win, how we have our client onboarding, then delight, which is a crucial stage, and how we deliver our services. And then we've got how we retain our clients, and many of our clients have been with us for over 10 years. We've got just over 90% retention rate. Okay, and this all comes down to our way of working and our team here at Blackmores. So the reason I'm explaining that is that, that's what we've described as being essential to establish high standards in the way that we deliver our customer success journey. So again, it's different for all businesses, but this is what we've added to our management system. Yes, we've got all the essentials in terms of what's required in our management system for 9001, but we've added where we think that there is a lot of value to be given both for our employees and our clients. The third step is collaboration. You can't do this all on your own. It's a business management system, and so you need representation from across the business to be able to shape it. So it suits everybody. So you need feedback. We need to understand what's working well and what's not working so well. And you may think, this is going to be really challenging with certain heads of departments or heads of functions. But I think the key here is to tune into that WIFM channel, the What's in It for Me channel. Tune into that with each function head. Let's say finance. What do they want from their business management system? Is it to have clearer controls on expenses or travel policy in terms of whether people might be travelling on business or economy class, or what the cap is on hotel spend? Is it better leadership in terms of making decisions on things that cost the business money, such as salary increases, bonuses, or supplier costs? Is it better controls concerning bad debtors? All of these things are related to processes and ultimately how you run your business. And they're things that could be really important to that head of function, that they want not only to improve the efficiency of their department, but to make their life easier as well. Now you might want to consider a good old-fashioned quality circle. These have been around for a long time. Deming kicked them off back in the 50s. And actually, I don't think they're ever going to go out of fashion, because at the end of the day, it's about a community of people coming together. So in a work environment, the quality circles are typically a group of people who do the same or similar work, and they meet regularly to identify, analyse and solve work-related problems. So that could be within a function. They could identify what is best practice from their policies and procedures, documents, etc. What do they not need? Some of those things might not have been used for years, and people just assume that they're there, that they need to comply with them. Well, often that isn't the case. And you could also have a quality circle with cross-representation across the business. So if you've got a quality champion in the finance team, one in operations, one in marketing, they can also come together to identify any common issues or concerns, which could be document control. That could be an issue across all departments. And then they can then come up with the solutions on what should be included within the management system for their key function. So collaboration is absolutely key. The fourth step is whether your management system is aligned with your company's culture, strategy, values and goals. So once you've identified what's essential from an ISO perspective, what's essential in terms of your business operational efficiency, productivity, etc., sustainability and risk management, when you've done that together in collaboration with your colleagues, the fourth step is to look at, okay, so what else have we got that isn't included that should be included? And quite often, and I see this many times, we see that the ISO manual is divorced from the rest of the business. It's completely separate, which is such a waste of an opportunity, I think, because values may not specifically be referenced in an ISO standard, but it doesn't mean to say that it should be excluded. What matters most to your business is what should be included. So that could be information on your strategy, values, goals, an introduction to who people are and what they do, making that more personalised, especially people who are working remotely and they don't see each other in the office. It's good to put a name to a face and understand what they're doing. Now, many people will have links within their organisation to get access to those key documents or information. So that means that the key person responsible for updating that, that could be as simple as, an organisational chart, means that if, say, the head of HR updates it, then everybody else gets access to it, which makes it easier in terms of maintaining that management system. I think it's fair to say that those organisations that share the vision, values and principles with employees are much more likely to achieve what they want to achieve, because it's not just kept to a couple of people at head office. It's shared across the company so that the company can share that vision and they work in synergy together. And I think that, once you do that, you can get some really great results from your management system. In fact, it can act as a vanguard for your business operations. So the fifth and final step is the last thing that you do, typically, is the design. It's the look and feel and accessibility of your management system. Now, you might think that this is a bit superficial, but I personally think that if you want to get great engagement from your stakeholders, the way that you present your policies, procedures and your way of working will make a huge difference in terms of getting their interest, their engagement and respect as well. I think it's worthwhile mentioning that. Yet, you want to have respect for that management system. It's something that you should be proud of, that everybody is empowered to take responsibility for and complies with it. And it's not just about employees either. There are other key stakeholders that may view certain parts of your management system. So they could be clients, contractors, and even potentially prospective clients as well. So, why not? If you set out your stall, how you mean to go on, if your website looks amazing, but your management system doesn't really reflect your branding, your company style, image, what you're all about, then I think there can be a huge disconnect there. So it's important that we're all singing from the same song sheet. And actually, some of the most impressive management systems that I've seen are unrecognisable as an ISO system or an ISO manual. And that's because quite often a manual doesn't even exist because it doesn't need to. It's not an ISO requirement anymore. But it's because the system is a true representation of the company's brand, the company's culture and ethos. And this can be accessed on lots of different ways, like Teams. As I mentioned, we've got ours in channels in Teams, SharePoint, and you can also, design your own wiki or intranet as well. So it won't look like an old-fashioned Word document manual. And again, don't worry, I did mention this on the previous episode, but don't worry if you haven't got a creative or tech bone in your body to design an amazing-looking management system. Bring help in, bring those creative and tech experts in, whether they are within your organisation or whether you need external support in order to be able to make that actually happen. So once you've discovered from your colleagues what it is exactly that they want, and you've got their buy-in, including leadership's buy-in, get a team of people to make this all happen, including your creative and tech people to bring it all together. I mean, at Blackmores, we've revamped our management system so that, you're literally only 2 clicks away from that customer journey, which will then link into our WOWs, our way of working. Which brings me on to the final point, really, on accessibility. When you are creating a new design for your management system, do think about how easy your ISO system is to navigate. How easy is it to find what you're looking for? And just think about the user experience and what that's like and how you access information. You need to consider if people haven't got access to a laptop, how are they going to get access to your policies, procedures, templates and documents? I mean, that it could be on a company app that's accessible by mobile, or, it might make sense to have, and this is quite an old-fashioned way, but it is still very, very effective, having, laminated workflows next to a piece of machinery, or having other visual displays in order to be able to get your message across, which could be posters, infographics, on things like recycling in the workplace. Okay, so not everything has to be on a laptop or squirreled away on a server. It can be more in your face as being something that's really important for the business. And, these sorts of things can help to not just communicate procedures and ways of working, but also your culture, your ethos, your values as well, which is really important. And it can not only help to guide people on what they need to do, but it just helps people refresh their knowledge and awareness on certain things too. So in terms of the look and feel of your management system, I think the final thing is just to consider how people engage and retain information. Is it audio? Is it video? Is it written instructions, diagrams, flowcharts? So it might be worthwhile considering these different options when it comes to revamping your management system. So there we have it. 5 steps to help revamp your ISO management system. So just to recap, number 1 is identify what's essential from an ISO perspective. Consider cutting the wheat from the chaff, okay, if your management system has turned out to be a bit of a beast. Secondly, establish what's essential to your business and making sure that it's a way of describing your own company's unique way of working. The third point was collaboration. You can't do it on your own. Get that team together of experts across the business to develop the management system. And then finally, we looked at whether your management system is aligned with your company's culture, strategy, values and vision. And then the design. So look at the feel, accessibility. Does it truly represent your business and what it's all about? So I hope you found that helpful. And, if you think that it is time to revamp your management system, I hope it's inspired you to look at your ISO management system through a slightly different lens and given you food for thought. If you'd like any assistance with revamping your management system, we are offering a free consultation. And if you sign up for an ISO support plan, we're also giving away 6 months free access to the ISOlogy Hub, which is our one-stop shop for all things ISO, which include video tutorials, e-learning courses, documents and templates. And if you've enjoyed listening to this episode of the ISO Show, please do leave a review on the media player that you're listening to, as it really does help us to spread the word. But also, it helps us to create content that you're interested in listening to in the future as well. I'd also love to hear from you if anything that we've mentioned today has provided a bit of an aha moment for you, or if you've implemented anything as a result of listening to a past podcast, we'd absolutely love to hear about it. And finally, if you don't want to miss any future episodes, just click on subscribe. So thanks once again for listening, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next ISO show.
Looking to achieve certification to an ISO standard, or just need a helping hand with ISO compliance? Contact us at blackmoresuk.com.